In the name of God, the beneficent, the most merciful, all praises due to God. My name is Hakeem, better known as Hakeem the Dream, and I'm your host and facilitator for today's show. We have a very beautiful special lineup today, and I'm sure that this show would really be an important one because it deals with everyday life and everyday occurrence. And so this is something that would affect all of us, young, old, rich, poor, and the whole nine yards. But I'll let you be the judge for yourself. But I like to not waste much time by getting right into the show. Our theme for today is man, infidelity. And with a hyphen, say, why do men cheat? And we have an expert in the studio today that will deal more involved with this subject matter. But I'm just going to give you my commentator, and then we'll get this show going. Again, the theme of today's show is man, infidelity. Why do men cheat? A survey taken by MSNBC revealed that 28% of married men have cheated on their partners. Nearly 50% of men admit to being unfaithful at some time in their lives. The question that is often asked by many is why men cheat. Ofri dedicated an entire show about the subject, and countless books has been written about the topic. Some say men cheat because they are searching and looking for somebody to build them up, to make them feel valuable. If this is truly the reason, why do men who have successful careers, great salary, and respect from their community and sometimes the world cheat? The list of men who fit this description and the cheating list is long. Some names include Tiger Woods, Arnold Schwarzenegger, John Edwards, Anthony Weiner, Bill Clinton, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Prince Charles, Mark Sanford, Elliot Spitzer. As in the situation with Anthony Weiner, these are men who essentially have everything and nearly lost everything due to their inability to control their desires. Anthony Weiner was a United States representative who had won 7 terms and was starting his campaign to run for mayor in 2013 of New York City. After his sex scandal, leaders from both parties request his resignation. So why do men who have so much to lose take the risk of losing their career and their family? On today's show, we will have an interesting discussion on this topic and get perspective from a religious and a psychological point of view. So we're asking you to call everyone that you think that need to hear this message, because it's going to be a very sincere, timely message, and a serious one at that best too. And we're going to have a little fun with it also. So again, my name is Hakeem Akil, better known as Hakeem the Dream. And at this point, I'll turn over my co-host, Brother Jawad Al-Amin, will take you deeper and further into today's subject.
Hakeem the Dream, welcome to Honest Opinion, keeping it real, making it happen. AM 1150, 96.1 FM, streaming live from WTMP.com. And you can follow us on Facebook, just put in the word Honest Opinion Radio. Follow us on YouTube, Honest Opinion Radio. And we now can be seen on Tampa News and Talk.com. The call-in number here is 813-251-9867, 813-251-WTMP. I want to introduce a guest, and I gave that alumni a list of players in this infidelity thing. I started saying, whoa, Hakeem the Dream. Boy, look here, let me give a disclaimer. The views and opinions of that list does not reflect the views and opinions of Honest Opinion, its staff, and listeners. Okay, that's out of the way. Now back at the ranch. We have in the studio with us, we have Dr. Melvin James, a licensed psychotherapist and a professor at USF, the University of South Florida. Welcome, Dr. James, and welcome to the show. And tell us a little about yourself.
Well, thank you very much. I've been in private practice here in Tampa for about 20-something years. I'm a sex therapist and a couple therapists also too. And I've worked with dozens of persons who've had to do with infidelity.
Oh, okay, great. All right, then, we're gonna qualify him up here. He's a licensed sex therapist and a licensed psychotherapist and a professor at USF, so we want to welcome you to the show. Welcome to Honest Opinion. Also, we have in the studio with us, we have Reverend Ricky Polk, pastor of Unity AME Church. Welcome, Ricky, welcome to the show, and tell us a little about yourself.
Good morning. I'm a pastor of the AME Church. I've been a pastor for about 8 years now. Love the Lord and love the community. Love to help people. A married man, love my wife, and want to help more brothers so they can be like myself and follow Christ.
All right, the man said he loves his wife. You got that out? Wait, real quick. Sister, I hope you were listening. He said he loves his wife. And whatever he said now, he is still in love with you. We got a whole, let me tell you something. In the history of Honest Opinion, we have never got a call at 9:07. And the caller said, I'll hold. And it's a sister. All right. Let's move on. We're having fun with it. People say we, have a lot of humor, but we're having fun. It's a very serious subject. We brought a brother in all the way from Orlando. It's Imam Hatem Hamidullah. He's the Imam of the Islamic Center of downtown Orlando. He's a well-versed teacher and lecturer in the Islamic community. Welcome, Imam Hatem. Welcome to the show, and tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Again, my name is Imam Hatem Hamidullah. I'm one of the imams in the Central Florida area. First of all, in association with the Islamic Society of Central Florida, and also I am part of an international, what is called Shura, in association with the late leader Imam W.D. Muhammad, of which I am one of his favorite students, I believe, among other students that he has all over the United States of America and abroad.
All right then. Well, the table is set, Hakeem the Dream. We're gonna go back to Hakeem the Dream before we start the interviewing process.
Well, I'll yield to them and I'll come back.
Okay, man. Don't let me start. Okay, he yielded. Hakeem is yielding. Let me go right to the question. First question, I'm gonna start with you, Reverend Poe. Why don't we ask the question in your own words and from your perspective? What is infidelity?
Infidelity is a person who is committing a sin amongst themselves. The scriptures say that when a man committeth adultery, he does it to his own soul. So it is a sin that a man commits on himself.
All right, then the tone is set. We can go right to that, and I'm gonna go take it over to the doctor from the psychotherapist standpoint. How do you see infidelity?
Well, I mean, the word infidelity actually means unfaithful. And there can be emotional infidelity, there can be sexual infidelity, there can be physical infidelity. So there are different components, and just very quickly, it's a very complex issue. And we need to be aware that there are biological issues involved, there are spiritual issues involved, there are social issues involved, and there are psychological issues involved. So there's these four main components. When we talk about infidelity, we need to realize the interplay between those four areas.
And I'm glad that you said that. I want to ask you another why I got you before I go to Brother Imam.
Yeah.
Is there a cultural difference in cultural infidelity from different cultural groups? You see anything different there?
Oh yes, certainly. Getting to how does one define infidelity, which is another big issue. I mean, I work with several couples from different cultures, and the way that one person defines infidelity is very different. Some people can allow their spouse to maybe have somebody else, and for them it's not infidelity, which is very interesting. Some people, if you just watch another man, another woman, it's infidelity. So people come with different perspectives, and you have to understand their perspectives to help them.
Very good. Now that makes sense, and I wanted to get that expanded version of it. Brother Imam, how do you see it from your perspective?
It's very interesting to see and hear the language coming from the Reverend and the doctor, because I'm realizing more and more every day in my life, that people have different perspectives on this whole concept of infidelity. And briefly, I would like to say that if we go to the root of the word, infidelity, and infidel, what is an infidel generally? Is someone who has really lost track of his own natural development. And so as a result, he is an infidel of his own nature. And when that takes place, he is not really in control of himself. He's in the control of something else. So it's, as the doctor mentioned, a spiritual aspect that has made him a rebel against his own soul. So it's very interesting, and I'm happy to be here on this program speaking about this subject.
Well, I'll tell you something. It's very good that because they always associate us as Muslims talking about the word infidel, and you just hit on the head, I can't. Hakeem the Dream, you want to follow that? You want to try to follow it?
I'm gonna go on down.
Go ahead, Hakeem the Dream.
Well, this is so important. And yesterday I was telling a friend of mine and about today's show, the topic. And he said, well, I don't want to hear that. Dad said, you know, I love, say, chicken, but I don't like to eat chicken every day. So I said, not to him, but to myself, is that if you get chicken prepared differently every day, then you would be eating the chicken, but it's prepared different. You can bake it, you can barbecue it, you can stew it, you can roast it, you can chop broth. I mean, there's many ways that you can fast it up and hook it up. Just because this is what you got, that don't mean that you should eliminate that to go to something else and subject to lose eating chicken and period. You know. So these are some of the things that my little personal thing that I'm saying is that there's never no right and wrong. It's wrong is wrong, it's right is right.
All right, let me go to the next line of questions, and I want to take this one to Dr. Melvin James. When you look at infidelity, what are the signs, the warning signs of infidelity in a relationship or in a marriage?
Well, I mean, there's several that one can note. First of all, there might be a distancing of the couple itself. There might be a lot of secrets going on, you know, things being hidden. You get those kind of issues going on. But let me just kind of go ahead before I answer that.
Okay, no problem. Do your thing, Doctor.
First of all, there are different types of affairs. And that's important to understand, because when I work with couples, it depends upon the type of affair.
Okay,
for example,
we'll
a
take
brief
your call in just a
encounter.
moment, okay?
You go out one night, you maybe had too much to drink, you know, and you had sex with somebody. That's a brief encounter type. Very different. Very different from a periodic sexual encounter. Those persons, for example, this man, for example, may be having sex over a period of time, and might be due to just issues in the marriage. There's no emotional connection taking place, but just a sexual. That's a different component itself. Some people have an affair for instrumental purposes, which is to get a job or get a promotion, to move ahead. That's the reason that they're involved in that whole issue. Another very common one is changing circumstances. You go to the military. I mean, you've left your spouse behind, you've left your significant person behind. That person may be involved. So again, there are different factors. And finally, emotional needs. We are all different. Some people are just by nature very lonely, very insecure. Those persons are more vulnerable. So when you talk about affairs, and I work with persons, I have to categorize where they fall in to help the couple work together.
That's very good. He laid it out. We got a doctor in the house. That was fantastic, and you know, I can understand a lot of that what you were saying and make a lot of sense. I'm gonna go to you, Reverend Polk. What do you see when you counsel people from a church?
I
I
mostly see that my father did it, my grandfather did it, my uncle did it, and they told me it was right. It's making me be a man. It's putting notches in my belt. And so, but the scripture says a man that committed adultery, he's like his understanding. And so we train up our young men in the wrong way. And so it's been, to me, that I see that it's been taught that this is the right thing for a young man to do, to have as many women as he possibly can. So that's where I see the word come from.
Very good. Let's now talk about some of the warning signs of infidelity that you see, Brother Imam, when you're doing your counseling among our community, the Islamic community. What are the warning signs that you would kind of warn people, say, caution?
You know, I have a kind of unique background, thanks to God. The experience in our world influences us in so many different ways. We sometimes wind up in a quagmire where we don't know really what's the correct way. But I have seen through counseling over the years that there is a very clear sign in distrust of one another. People are not really trusting each other in the home. And one of the major signs is, as the doctor mentioned, is that the behaviors begin to change. You know,